Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome in. So yeah, I'm going to go through in this video here what for me is the best set of drums I've ever owned. Okay, these are my Pearl maple gum, Masters maple gum that I got in 2018. I toured around the world with them a couple of times. You can see them on the Toto 40 Trips DVD that's out there. They're just awesome drums. And I'm going to go through a couple of things here. I'm going to set these up and play them a couple different ways, and that's part of what makes them great, okay? For me, the criteria is versatility for one thing, right? And different drums can only wear certain kinds of heads and be, give you something usable. Now, sometimes those drums are very specific and great at one thing, but what I'm looking for in my main instrument and why I feel such a connection to this set of drums is its ability to do everything I need it to do. So basically, I can take this set of drums and go totally retro with some dampening techniques that I'll get into, and I can go wide open into a rock situation, contemporary kind of thing. And if you check out, if you've seen us out with Toto in the last year or two, I have another kit that's just the same construction as this. It's just a different color. I really like the black on black, and that I think is becoming, just my my image, if you will. I like this setup. So anyway, a couple things that I will demonstrate here. I'm going to move the kit over, and small drums tuned low, which is for recording, can be and was, when I did a whole lot of recording, was the direction that I went with a lot. Small drums tuned down. Basically, you get less undesirable overtones. You get a more attack because the head's moving more on impact, things like that. So I'll do a little demonstration with this kit where I play 10, 12, 13, 16 in a way that I would use in the studio a lot. And then I'm going to do the same setup with 12, 13, 14 as my rack drums tuned up, and I like that for especially playing live, the way that those extra harmonics in the drums, when you start cranking them up, help things cut through the PA. So sometimes I'm sitting in almost the same pitch intervals of tuning. It's just about pulling a bigger drum to a higher tension in those situations. Now on the Toto, what you can check out on the Toto 40th DVD, if you haven't seen it, is it's those 10, 12, 13 kind of tune in that range, and you hear this big full tonality, and that's also a recording mixed by Bob Clearmountain, so it sounds fantastic, but we always get that sound out front with Ken Freeman. Sort of a side note in this video that you'll see, people ask me a lot of times with this big wall behind me and all these drums up there, and you can't maybe see it in this shot, but I get asked, how do I get those drums down? And the answer is very carefully. But you'll see in this cutaway that I do here how I get those drums down. I'll do another time lapse of me swapping these drums out into the current setup that I have, and you'll just get another look at why I use my hardware setup the way I do for recording, just in general, so that I can just switch drums out in my setup without a bunch of adjustments. So I'll leave all the tom arms and things in place, and basically when I have those larger rack toms up, 12, 13, 14, I set everything up for that spacing. And so when I go down a size, there'll be some space in between, but essentially the center place of where I'm hitting the drums is coming from the same position. And another note, somebody mentioned about the drums looking very high, and that is true. With a 22-inch bass drum and standard size rack toms, the spacing is a bit high. It doesn't look so tucked in, but that's not how I play, and basically also, the setup is so that I can accommodate a 24-inch bass drum, and then when my rack toms are 9 by 13 and 10 by 14, then you've got 3 additional inches or more of clearance that you have to have. So I keep everything on a surface level where my body is in the same position when I'm playing. And sometimes, especially if I go down to a 20-inch bass drum, it looks a bit odd for everything to be so spaced out like that. But the goal is for me, in most things I'm doing recording, that that the drum spacing is in the same position, so my setup can be changed around quickly. And on another video, we'll talk about the geometry and what it does to your playing when you bring things in and when you spread them out, because there is something to that. And if I were going to sit around and just work on jazz drumming, then I would pull everything tighter so that all my distances were shorter and things like that. But anyway, this, like I say, for me is my favorite set of drums I've ever owned. If I had to only have one instrument to play, I would be completely confident and happy to be just playing these drums, knowing that I can get anything I want out of them. And I'm going to give you guys a little demonstration of that on the other side. So check it out. All right, so the idea there is to demonstrate these drums wide open. This is, the maple gum shell. It's based on a classic shell that we all know and understand. And like I say, for me, this is the best set of drums I've ever owned for this reason. You can hear all this wide open sustain. They're not pitched as low as I can possibly get them, but for this demonstration, they're fairly low. Something similar to what my sort of, baseline tuning was when I was playing sessions all the time. And it's for how they sit, generally in a track against the other instruments. So I'm going to go through the toms, and then I'll do another demonstration. I'll dampen them a little bit and show you how much difference just a little bit of dampening can make. And then I'll show you the bigger drums tuned up and kind of play a little bit of the same kind of thing. But here we go through them. And you can see I've beaten the 12 out a little bit because the heads, another thing I do, the heads are new on 3 of the drums. The 10, it's not. And I don't crack them in and crank them in. I bring them up as the head seats because to my ear, when you smash those things and you crank the shit out of them, then drop the tension, there's a certain amount of pliability and snap they lose that you never get back. And it kills a bit of this kind of second harmonics in the drum. So I keep pulling the tension up as the drums, break in, the heads break in. That's good enough for me. And also my console has been off. It's giving me a little fit, but we're just going to go with it. So So that's the drums wide open. So a trick I use a lot that I'll explain in greater detail another time is I use tea towels, but I don't use them the way you normally see them used. And I'm just going to demonstrate this on the 12, 13, 16 quickly here, but you can watch me go through it. I take a towel, and I get this one across the two racks, okay? And then I take enough tape to get across the towel and get about half and half to the head. And then basically what I do is I put it kind of far toward the edge of the drum, depending on how much sustain I want, right? So here would be the 12. Okay, and then I'll get the 13. And, you know, it's an interesting thing I'll get into in another video, kind of the way drums are being captured and the sound of a lot of these modern records. The drums have become so overly dampened, and it's basically to problem solve other things, but I'll get into some detail about that. But this is a good way to kind of get in that middle ground, but not lose all the tack or tone character of your drums. So the head is still giving me, you know, what I'm looking for from a tack standpoint, because the towel's not out across the center of the drum, right? My apologies there. We don't do any do-overs here. Yeah. So another towel. Now I got these towels from John McBride at Blackbird. He sourced these. They're the same exact tea towels that the brand and I guess thread count and everything that Ringo would have used. John's the ultimate Beatles fan, hence the studio complex being called Blackbird. So I bring it in farther on the 16 to control more of the sustain, and this is just winging it. This is not with any great care being given, but now the same thing can be done, and I do, with the snare drum. So just to kind of tighten the whole kit up quickly and give you some point of reference. Actually, I'm going to use a different trick on the snare. I use a wallet. A lot of people have. I learned it from guys as a kid. I tape it a certain way, which I will show you another time. So you can hear that rather than going full on crazy dead, no sustained flump, thump, thump, which is, I'll get into another video. I keep saying that for all the reasons that's a terrible idea to do that to yourself. So much so that it's created a loop of people copying that sound so much they can't tell if it's them or someone else. You know what I mean? And that's part of the trouble of cutting so much of your hands and tone out of your sound. So there's those toms. I'm going to make a quick change. We're going to crank them up. This time it's going to be 12, 13, 14. And you get an idea of that, what that does. And yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so here the drums are individually, you know. And so that's 12, 13, 14 tuned up, 16's the same. And then you get some overtone stuff. You can see what it gets a little more of that activity like you get in a bebop kind of tuning, you know, kind of cranked. And it gives me, when I'm out and I'm soloing or doing things like that, it helps the drums speak out. That kind of rim shotting and sort of double stroke, all those little variations of the harmonics coming off the drum is what's a lot of fun about playing the bigger drums tuned up. And like I say, in our music with Toto and what we're doing, it really adds a spectral thing that helps it jump through the PA. It helps them cut. It helps them cut through the mix. And it's exciting to play, and so yeah, and I even tune maybe a little bit higher sometimes out there. This was just a fairly quick demonstration here. But yeah, so that was the purpose here. You know, the versatility of these drums, the Maple Gum, Masters Maple Gum, and this truly is my favorite set of drums I've ever owned. And you know, it shows you the difference between big drums tuned up from the same kit and small drums tuned lower, and you can go lower from there, and a little bit of the dampening technique that I use. And yeah, so there's a walkthrough of this kit. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate that. And also, I'm going to put a link in the description. I have a really great instructional video that's out. That's it's basically a complete behind-the-scenes look, first take video. It's not like these videos that are going around where people hear a song for the first time that already exists. This is a unique one because you get to go inside the studio with me and go along as I hear a song, a new piece of music for the first time, and approach it like I do. I just go through a session with you. What I do in the session is I break it down very specifically. So anytime I stop to make a change, I give you an in-depth, detailed explanation of why I'm making those choices. So through all my years of experience and the things that have gotten me to the point where I get asked to play on people's records, all of that is very, very specifically documented in this video. So you definitely want to check it out. It's not going to be here on my channel, but you can purchase it at Gumroad. You'll see the link in the description of this video. And absolutely, I tell you, it's worthwhile because it's an insight that I would have loved to have been able to get from the people who influenced me. And I think you'll really enjoy it. I think it'll be very beneficial. You'll definitely get, you'll see some things in very specific detail that make certain choices and things that seem, subjective maybe make a little more sense. So anyway, check that video out and let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time.